what happened is I happened across a website by Jeremy Gilley. How he started, what got him going is he and another guy had to go to Afghanistan to deliver some medicines. He's English, to deliver some medicines to some orphans. And Taliban was there and everybody was fighting, and they had to spend months securing a road that would be safe for them to travel to deliver the medicines. It had taken them two months to deliver something that should have taken 4 hours. So that got him going. And he knew that the UN had declared a peace day, but they didn't have a fixed calendar date for it back then. They had declared peace day in 1981, but they didn't have a fixed date for it. And he felt, well, there should be a day of not. That trip in Afghanistan made him feel passionate about having one day when nobody fought. Could we have one day devoted to nonviolence, no fighting? What would happen if the whole world could experience a single day with people not fighting? That was his campaign. So he started this campaign to get the UN to set a particular single day. And in 2001, they said, yes, okay, we'll do that. And so and by then, he'd gotten the Dalai Lama and all kinds of exciting people supporting this. So it wasn't just this little guy in the film industry called Jeremy Gilley. It was all the big people who made it. And by the time I'm reading this, which was in 2012, he'd really grown Peace One Day and had a big celebration on Peace Day. And he was inviting NGOs all across the world to join with him in doing something where they live on Peace Day. And I thought, I was trying to grow SICA. I was SICA chair. I was trying to grow SICA at that time. I'm looking for a platform that we can go out into the world with. And I thought, we're an NGO. So I clicked the button on his website to fill in this form. And then, gets down to, who are you, blah, blah, blah. What are you going to do on Peace Day? Oh, what are we going to do? And Poems for Peace popped into my head and I put it down. And then and I didn't think about it. The next day, I get an email from Jeremy Gilley with all this marketing material saying, congratulations, and you're part of our team, and da. And well, now I have to do it. So, it was fortunate because I was in Austin. My job at the time was that I was working as an executive director for an arts service organization. We looked after 150 arts organizations in Austin. So I knew all the people in the arts. I was on the board of a big theater that had a little theater in it. So I knew I could get space in the little theater. So yes, they were free on the 21st of September, which would be Peace Day. And suddenly I think, I'm in a Subud group in Subud, Austin, but for some reason, and they were good size, but for some reason that day, everybody was busy. None of my Subud brothers and sisters could come to this noontime program we were having on Peace Day, so we could observe the global moment of silence that happens every noon on Peace Day. And I thought, can I call this the Subud International Cultural Association presents, when I'm the only one in Subud? So who's involved with this? And right then on my desk was this article, this talk I had printed out from Ibu Rahayu. Well, Ibu Rahayu begins every single talk, brothers and sisters whom I love and respect. Love and respect. That's peace. That's the whole thing. If we can give love, if people can feel love and respect, it's Subud. So full of this feeling in me, I had to go to the theater. I had to get there. So I picked up flowers on the way. I picked up flowers for the actors backstage. I picked up some goodies for them to chomp on backstage. I got flowers for the front of the house. I had programs all printed. I had done posters and all that stuff. And we had a nice audience. And, the theater can seat about 300 people. And there were 250 50, 60, it was close to full. And I made a little announcement. All I had to do was make a little announcement at the very beginning of the program. I was not in the program, but the whole time I sat there in the audience, I was just full of this feeling of love and respect, of this feeling that Ibu gives you as I sat there watching the program. And after the program, people came up to me and they said, "Who are you? What is this?" And I got goosebumps because I felt, Bappa had said a lot when Bappa was alive, because when SICA began, Richard Engels and I were the first two people involved with getting SICA going. And so between Anugraha Congress and Sydney Congress, we were at all the meetings with Bappa and the rest of the international team until Bappa died in 1987. And there was a meeting that Bappa had where we were there, and I'm sitting, so I'm looking right at Bappa's, and Richard had given a report on SICA, and Bappa got interrupted the next people to give their report because suddenly he had a receiving. And he stood up and he was looking at what he was seeing, and he was describing what would be the future for SICA. And I'm looking at his eyes, watching a TV tube somewhere in the sky that I can't see, but I just know he's seeing what he's seeing. And he says that this is how people will come to Subud, through SICA, through things that we do, things that we present. And that's what I witnessed in this little Poems for Peace program that we did in Austin back in 2012, which is why I became such a nutcase about getting people to do it, because I hoped maybe they would feel what I felt. Maybe somebody else would have this feeling and experience the reality of the work. So that's what fired me up about it. I'm still fired up about it. I think we have a great gift on our hands, and it just got given to us somehow. And how nice to ask people to do something for peace, because, Bappa's, one of his songs and poems, there's one of them that says, Bappa talks about praying that this latihan that we've been given, this gift we've been given, will spread all over the world so that people, all of mankind, can live in peace and tranquility. And then I reached out to other groups, other Subud groups, to share what I had done, and SICA people. And Ismana in Germany, it had picked up on it right away, and she got it. And she organized Zone for Peace in a following year. It coincided with she was chair of Subud Germany at the time, and it coincided with their Congress. And so she invited me to come and make a presentation about Poems for Peace. But they also organized this wonderful Poems for Peace program all on their own. They had people writing poems, then they selected the poems, and then they presented the poems. And then a girl who had been one of my former students in Jakarta organized a whole Poems for Peace event in Australia with her kindergarten kids, which was very, very sweet. And so little by little, it spread to about 14 different countries where people would do Poems for Peace events on Peace Day. They're still doing them in Australia, I believe, and they're still doing them in England, and I think they're still doing them and they're very much doing them in Italy. They've gone to town with this. This is a big number for them. They do it every year in Rome. So for the longest time, there was a little R after trade after Poems of Peace because it was a registered trademark event that only belonged to SICA. Unfortunately, the trademark ran out this last year, and it required a couple $1,000s more than I had to renew the trademark. So now it's general, and I see that who's using Poems of Peace as an event? The United Nations. So it's not so terrible after all. And with the campaign they do with young people, which is wonderful. And so it's grown in ways that we couldn't have expected. And there is we also created a website, a Facebook group anybody can be part of, Subud or non-Subud. And so it continues and continues. And hopefully there's some touch of Subud that people are feeling. I know that Ibu once talked about Bapa's hope for SICA, that this is how people would feel the latihan, even if they don't know what it is. So it doesn't mean that they all will come to Subud, but maybe they'll feel the latihan in the work we do. So that's my prayer, that it will continue to grow. I hope more and more people will see what's beautiful in poetry. I think, poets contain a truth sometimes that other people can't see. They used to be the most valued people in a society. And while many things come and go, usually poetry lasts. It stays with us.